I swear this has been the hardest video to edit. I keep trying to do cold opens. Everything has been going wrong in the editing process. I wanted to try to make this video look clean and pretty and do it really structured. But everything's going wrong tonight. And it's the videos where I spend a lot of time on are the ones that don't get any views. Like that Final Fantasy where I ranked the raids. I spent like 20 hours on that between playing all the raids, ranking all the raids, sorting all the raids. And it has like 6 views. So you know what? I'm just going to throw my thoughts out there about this game. And I'll just call that the review. Because I'm only expecting like 20 views. Hopefully it does really good. But yeah. So just know I'm not going to put a lot of effort into the editing process. I'm tired and nothing is going right. Basically, you play as a girl named Anne. Anne struggles with something called entanglitis. Her little brother wants to help, and so he goes out to find this medicine called N540, which is a rare medicine that's hard to get. And he gets involved with the wrong people, he gets captured, and it's up to Anne to go and save him. That's pretty much the gist of it. And, she hits highs and lows. You're accompanied by a girl named Ayane, which is pretty much your Cortana. She's kind of annoying sometimes, but by the end of the game, she calms down. Basically, they throw a lot of characters at you at once. And I notice a lot of anime games do this. Final Fantasy does this. The Tales of series does this, where you have like 20 characters to keep track of. And the problem is, this is like a 20-hour game. So you have the main cast, which is Anne, Ayane, and Ryan. Ryan's captured most of the time, so it's mostly Anne and Ayane. And I actually do like those two. It's when you get to the villains, because there's a lot of freaking villains in this one. There's like a whole alphabet of bad guys. And it all kind of falls apart in the third act, because I have no idea what's happening in the third act. The final boss is cool, but that being said, the final boss does not fit with the Cyberpunk theme. Speaking of the Cyberpunk theme, I feel like it doesn't enhance the story. They don't do anything with the Cyberpunk theme too much. If you told me this is a near future Tokyo or a near future New York and not Cyberpunk, I'd believe you. Like, there are prosthetics limbs, like arms and legs, but there's not. I wish it was more cyberpunky. No one grows mechanical spider legs, no one shoots laser beams from their eyes. And I wish it was less practical, and I wish they just went full on cyberpunk. It almost feels like they started this game back when Cyberpunk came out, and they just kind of tacked on the Cyberpunk theme just as a catch. And I just think they could have done more with the Cyberpunk. So let's talk about the gameplay. I'll talk about the third act at the very end of the video, because that's where the spoilers will be. Gameplay is pretty simple. It's a side-scroller beat-em-up when it's action time. And so you have your X, which is a light attack, your Y, which is heavy, and then you have a little pistol to shoot things. I didn't use the pistol too much, except to shoot things out of the air. For the most part, I just used the X and Y Mostly, I would jump up and then do heavy slam down and then spam X. And it's pretty decent, actually. It's a lot of fun. They don't reinvent the wheel with it, with the combo system, but it's a tried and true system, so it works. Okay, so the bosses. This game is a boss rush with a story mode attached, and it gets exhausting sometimes. You'll be like fighting a big lizard that kicks your butt a lot, and you'll spend like 30 to an hour on a stupid lizard if you're anything like me. But the bosses were really challenging, and so you fight a really hard lizard, and then 15 minutes later, you're fighting another boss, which is like 3 mechs. And you gotta get the mechs to shoot each other to damage. Like, one fires missiles, and you gotta aim those missiles at another mech to take down the shields. And this is right after the lizard. So, it's just big boss after big boss after big boss. This game does not breathe at all. It just keeps going and going and going. I'm still deciding if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But that being said, I would have liked some time to like upgrade some equipment to breathe a little bit, get my bearings back before the next big boss. But yeah, no. This, like I said, this is a boss rush with a story mode. Some of the bosses are annoying, like the mech one I just mentioned. And then there's a boss where you're fighting them, and there are people walking in front, so it hinders your vision. And in a game like this, I don't want to say Souls-like, I really don't. But, where you gotta watch the enemies move, where they telegraph attacks, you gotta be watching that boss. And so when people are like walking in front of you, it gets annoying. It gets distracting. So some of the boss battles aren't really thought through. But it is what it is. I feel like the bosses are hit or miss too. I know I've been bashing on this game, but I really did enjoy it. It was just exhausting with the bosses. And like I said, the third act is kind of dumb. But the world is really cool. It's funny as crap, actually. There is a side quest where Aranye wants to know who this VTuber pop star is. And so she talks Anne into tracking this pop star down. They find the true identity of the pop star, and they're like, we should just keep that a secret. And it's such a great twist because I had it in my head. I'm like, it's gonna be this, and it turned out it was this, and it was hilarious. There's also a scene with Santa Claus, which was the most memorable part of the game, with Anne's dad and Santa Claus. And that was actually my favorite part of the game. Not going to lie, that little exchange, the best. It's very comedic. It knows when to be comedic, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. And I kind of like it. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, we're at the end of the video. Allow me to talk about the third act. And I'm trying to think about how to explain it. So basically, Anne has the ability to go into a different dimension with her mind, and that's what entanglitis is. And everyone wants Anne. There's too many villains at the end. I have no idea what's going on. Basically, the magic girl's gotta send back an evil guy from the hinterlands. And it all goes crazy from there. And the final boss is a freaking blue eyes white dragon. I'm not even kidding. And like, uh, it just loses its own plot. It's just like, what if we throw a dragon in there? And it just completely ditches the cyberpunk and it goes full magic out of nowhere, and it doesn't earn it. And there's Anne failed. Let her go back into time and fix all of it, and that's unearned. And it's just crazy. That third act is just crazy, and I have no idea what's freaking going on. Also, the final boss. I do not mind the final boss itself. However, what I hate is there is no save spot before the final boss. And the problem is every time you die to this final boss, you have to sit through dialogue again. You have to craft all your items again. And it just... I don't mind doing a boss over and over and over again, as frustrating as it is. But I hate to cool off in between tries, you know? When you fail once, the next thing you want to do is just get back in there and try again. And if you're anything like me, you have one really good run, and then like 3 sucky ones, and then 1 good run, and then you beat it. But the problem is you gotta sit through that dialogue, and you cool off in between tries. So you fail at the boss, and then instead of going back in, you gotta sit through dialogue, and it just cools you off, and it's super annoying. The ending also, they set up for part 2, but the ending didn't leave me satisfied. It left me satisfied just because the game was done and I could finally review it. But the ending is just so dumb. I hate to tell you, but the ending is dumb. So this is the part where I tell you to subscribe and like and comment and all that other stuff. But I feel like, as small as I am, telling you to subscribe without giving you something. So I'll give you like a roadmap on what's coming up next on my channel and give you a reason to subscribe, if you so choose. I'm a Final Fantasy channel at heart, and then I cover a lot of MMOs. And so next week I would like to talk about Ashes of Creation and how I'm not excited for it. I would like to talk about Gundam Evolution versus Overwatch 2, and then I will review Doom 64. If I could do like 2 Final Fantasies a week and then 1 review, that's the game plan, is 1 review a week and then just Final Fantasy and MMOs for the rest of the content. So that's what's coming up. Subscribe if you want. It would really help. And that's it. That's all I had. Anno MUTATIONEM. Honestly, I'm kind of glad I'm done with it. But I did enjoy my experience. Don't get me wrong. Alright, well, tell me what you thought in the comments below, and Artifact out.